record as well. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. If you are joining us live, say hello. If you're joining us later, hashtag replay, please. I have a beautiful, beautiful guest with me today. Someone very special who's been working with me for a couple of months now. But
few more than a couple.
Jamie has volunteered to come and share her journey in the Food Freedom Program with everyone. So if you ever were wondering what it was about, this is your chance to just hear a little bit more about it. So thank you, Jamie, for joining us. It's really just so glad to have you and catching up beforehand. So thank you for making the time to sharing this with us today.
Sure, happy to do it.
Beautiful. Now, did you want to tell everyone just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am from the United States, but am married to an active duty serviceman, and we live in Germany. I have a almost 17-year-old son. Um, I am a substitute teacher on base, which is something I really, really love to do. Um, and other than that, when we used to be able to travel, we loved traveling Europe. Um, we, I love gardening, house plants, um, watching my son play soccer. That's being a soccer mom keeps me awfully busy.
Yes, I'm sure it does. And so thank you for just sharing a little bit about you. It's really great to see that food freedom is possible for everyone, doesn't matter who we are. And it's just so lovely to hear your story and your background. So, did you want to tell us and share a little bit about what life was like for you before the Food Freedom Program?
Well, sure. It was a little bleak. um, I had pretty much given up on myself. I um, was kind of resigned to the fact that I was going to always feel negative about my body. I wasn't happy with how it looked, and although I'm embracing the um, body positivity movement, it just wasn't taking. So between that and um, yeah, I was starting to worry about my health. My blood pressure wasn't in the best of ranges. If I'm sitting on the floor, just getting up was hard to do. um, and yeah, about the only part of my body that I liked was my nose. So it was definitely time to um, do something for myself.
Hmm. And absolutely. This was definitely a giant leap of faith that you took in yourself. I remember when
Yeah,
we first chatted, you were like, Estelle, I don't know if I can do this. I'm gonna take that leap anyway, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can follow through with it.
sure. Yeah, definitely voices in my head, voices around me telling me that I was just bound to fail.
Mm.
Um, and of course, that is internalized, and that's what I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so proud. We just celebrated on that actual fact in our final session, just how you actually succeeded and how well you
That's
succeeded with
right.
the program.
That's right.
And and this is such a natural thing. Most women, when they start working with me, they do feel that fear. So thank you for sharing that part as well, because
Yes.
that's quite scary. So how did you treat food before the food freedom program?
Oh gosh. It was kind of like a pacifier. Um, when I was feeling any sort of feeling, not just sad or mad, even happy. Food was my go-to. Um, it's a pretty quiet life we lead here, and so um, it was easy to just wrap up in a blanket, my cocoon, and just reach my hand and do a box of snacks and turn my brain off. Um, it's also kind of a delayed way of rebelling against all of the um, people, um, society expecting me to be perfect. This was something I could control, and um, so yeah, I controlled it by rebelling and overdoing it,
Yes.
pretty much.
We did discover that your inner rebel is quite strong, and
Yes.
rebellion is definitely there from a food perspective. If we've been
Yes.
on many diets throughout the years, or we've been on highly restrictive diets, counting calories, being overly, obsessive and controlling over food, we
Right. I've
often
been
do
through,
some of that.
sorry, yeah. Yeah, I've been through those phases of, over exercising. It was basically a full-time job, counting calories, um, choosing recipes, planning out my food and exercise every day. Um, yeah, it was like a full-time job.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I hear you. I mean, at one point I was tracking on MyFitnessPal. I had my own calorie counter for like my steps taken and the amount of running I did. I would log my on Weight Watchers app, and I
Yeah.
had a spreadsheet.
Oh, it's exhausting just thinking about it.
So exhausting.
Feel like a number.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
when did you decide to reach out to me in the end?
Um, I I don't remember now exactly how I got turned on to body positivity. Um, uh, Andrea Mathis, she's out of North Carolina. You interviewed with her,
Yes.
and um, I love her philosophy of living an imperfect life. And I had been following her Facebook page, but after seeing the interview with you, it just you really clicked with me. So I started following you and um, went from there. You did a 30-day challenge that I was really successful with, very much enjoyed, and decided to continue, um, and went on with the Food Freedom Program. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So the 30-day challenge was the food zombie challenge, which
Oh
was
yes,
quite
that's right.
interesting.
Yes.
So many breakthroughs in that, and it was just such a beautiful way to start the journey, actually.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for sharing. And what do you think was your biggest aha moments? We had many ahas and we had many
We did.
breakthroughs.
It's hard to choose.
I think every week we had something different that came up. But what do you think was some of your biggest or your biggest aha moment during our time together?
Yeah. The one that stands out the most, I think, is how much of my husband's and my son's emotions I was taking on myself. Um, I have a hard enough time with anxiety and depression as it is. To add on my son's anxiety and my husband's unhappiness with his job. It really was taking a toll and kind of driving me to hide in that cocoon and basically do what I thought was self-care by shutting down, when really it was the opposite. And I needed to come out of my shell and communicate more, not take on all of that emotion. It's not my job. So that was definitely a big one that's very much still sticking with me. And then we touched on it a little bit of the rebellion in me from 15 years old is still lingering. And when we kind of visited my childhood self, it was really powerful to sit with her, even my college age self, actually, and sit with her and let her know everything's going to be okay. And again, with my, I've discovered that I have a pace that's a lot slower than a lot of typical people. So I've hit my 50s, and some of this stuff I'm sure other people have gone through already. Me, on the other hand, it's taken a while, so I'm still getting over that teenage rebellion stage, I think. And that's okay. It's my pace. And that's, yeah, I'm happy with that. It's still progress, no matter when it's happening. And also the belief ladder, and really ingraining in myself the fact that I deserve the space that I take up. I didn't think, I thought that I took up too much space. And I've been able to reverse that belief to, no matter how much space I take up, physically, emotionally, I deserve it. It's mine, and I'm going to embrace it. For sure.
And it's so true. And what was the mantra you made for that?
My space has a place.
Absolutely. So if you guys are taking away anything of what Jamie says, no matter what's happening in your life, you have a space. You are deserving to be here. And
yes.
We think that we need to shrink ourselves and make ourselves smaller, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally.
Yes.
And that's not the case. We all have a beautiful, beautiful space in this world and place. So
yes. Absolutely. And when you take up that space, many people appreciate it. Actually, it's not something that causes people to shy away. It's probably more likely that you will attract more love and light around you. And yeah, it's a big step, but it definitely is a positive one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's such a big one for everyone to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my favorite ones. So favorite ahas out of our time together.
Yes.
So, given your experience inside the Food Freedom Program, would you recommend doing the program?
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. Without hesitation. It's a safe place. I'm doing it from Germany, and it couldn't have been easier. So first off, yes, it's easy. It's you provide such a safe space, um, the empathy, the um, the caring, the non-judgment. Um, it all comes together to really be a supportive environment, no matter where the journey takes you. 16 weeks is a lot of discovery, and which isn't always easy.
Yeah.
um, but you make it really easy to open up um, and work through the the aha moments that aren't so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, we don't even notice that they're there.
that's right. That's absolutely right. It's, yeah, it's a way of life, unfortunately. And to have the 16 weeks to be able to gradually and not just overnight change your way of living is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jamie.
Yeah.
And how has the stop method helped you along your journey?
I have mainly used it when I open up the pantry. um, after work, school, I would march myself straight to the pantry and look for something to pacify my feelings. Um, Now I don't even reach for the pantry nearly as often as I did. I change my afternoon routine so that I journal and write in my daily planner right after school instead. And so that need to reach for any food has pretty much gone. If I do make it to the pantry, I've got better choices now. Um, and or I just look in there and decide none of that is anything that I want or need, and I just shut the door again. Um, it's usually that I'm thirsty, which a lot of people read about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot, that if you think you're
Mm.
hungry, you're probably thirsty. Um, so yeah, that's it's definitely been a a way to remember that there are other ways to care for myself other than stuffing my face to shut off emotions. That's not self care.
Yeah. But also honoring that, in a way that was because it helped you in that situation
Right. Oh
or
yeah.
those situations.
Yeah. I don't berate myself for that. I've um, been able to forgive that and know that it was it was all I had at the
Mm,
time.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
It's so important to know that,
Yeah.
if we're leaning on food um, while we're struggling, it's because that's maybe the only way we know how to deal with that. And
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
And, that's what the Food Freedom Program is about, is to find the other ways. And
Exactly.
doing that in a slow kind of manner where we kind of peel the layers of the onion open and
Right. It's a
see what's
discovery.
underneath there.
Yes, exactly.
Anything else you wanted to share with everyone before we go?
Oh gosh. No, I just can't say enough about how easy it was to succeed. Um, I mean, there are definitely hard moments about it, but it's only to um, push you further in your progress. I just, I felt successful after every session. Um, and each session built upon itself. So by the time we got to the end, I was in a totally different place. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just such a pleasure to see you grow and just embrace all that's you, your beautiful you.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us today. Um, Everyone, if you're watching below, give us some hearts and comments, just encouraging her. And thank you so much for sharing with us today, Jamie. I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone now and end the live. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
There